レベル4のサムライソードバロンにレベル2の10手ライトをチューニング。真空の召喚、現れろゴヨーガーディアン。ゴヨーガーディアンを破壊したモンスターを自分のフィールドに奪う強力モンスター。こいつで貴様を逮捕だ。行けゴヨーラリアット。
What's up everyone, it's VideoBox, and yes, I am talking about the return of Goyo Guardian. Now, this is the newest card of my, or of TeemTHE's card discussion. I believe we're at number 10. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. The title will have the correct number. But anyways, I want to talk about Goyo Guardian because it recently came off the limited forbidden list. And I know a lot of people have already talked about it in various videos, but I figured it's better to talk about a card now that the list is actually intact, as opposed to all the hype and what it potentially was beforehand. Because now that it's playable again, you kind of have to see the card as how it will interact with some of the newer cards in the game. I mean, I won't go over the effect, you can look it up for yourself, but what I mainly want to have this discussion about is how Goyo Guardian interacts with some of the cards that we see in play today. And, you know, because I'm a judge, I'm going to see this happen more often than not. And one of the few things that I really want to touch upon is how Goyo Guardian will interact with this stupid card here, Fire Hand. Now, a lot of people, because a lot of people know that Fire Hand is a when optional, what is optional trigger? Yeah, optional trigger. When something happens, blah blah blah, you can do this. I mean, if it happens in the middle of like a chain link or whatnot, it can miss timing. But in terms of how it interacts with Goyo Guardian, it actually does not miss timing. Because Goyo Guardian reads, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can special summon that monster to your side of the field in face-up defense position. Fire Hand reads, when this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent's card, either by battle or by card effect, and sent to your graveyard, you can target one monster they control, destroy that target, and then you can special summon an Ice Hand from your deck. So, the premise is that if Fire Hand destroys Goyo, or Goyo destroys Fire Hand, will either affect miss timing? My answer to this is actually it doesn't, because both of these effects will trigger as the monster gets sent, or it is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. So normally when Goyo Guardian attacks, let's say something like Snowman Eater, as soon as Snowman Eater flips up, it'll target and destroy Goyo, more than likely, and then Goyo Guardian will be destroyed before it gets a chance to technically destroy Snowman Eater by battle. But with Fire Hand, it has to die in battle first before its effect to destroy a monster on the field will be able to activate. So in this case, what will happen, let's say Goyo Guardian attacks. Fire Hand is destroyed. Now, Goyo Guardian is still face up after it destroys a monster by battle, so its effect can actually activate and trigger. And Fire Hand itself has also been destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, which means its own effect is able to activate and destroy a monster on the field. So what will happen in the case of these two monsters is that simultaneous effects will go on chain, or in short, SEGOC, S-E-G-O-C. So the turn player the turn player will normally have any optional or mandatory effects as Chainlink 1, and then the opposite player will have their effects on Chainlink 2. So if you resolve this normal chain backwards, Fire Hand will destroy Goyo Guardian, assuming that's the monster you want to destroy. Goyo Guardian is destroyed, and then Fire Hand will special summon an Ice Hand from the deck. Now, since Goyo Guardian doesn't state that it has to be face up on the field after it's met its trigger to resolve, Fire Hand will then special summon from the graveyard to the turn player side of the field. So now the final result will be opponent has Ice Hand and you have their Fire Hand. That's if Goyo Guardian is the attacking monster. Now in the case where Fire Hand rams into a Goyo Guardian, it's a little different, but it's about the same thing. In this case, Fire Hand will be Chainlink 1, and Goyo Guardian will be Chainlink 2. So Fire Hand attacks, it destroys itself. So now, both triggers activate. Goyo Guardian resolve first this time, steal the Fire Hand, special summon it, And then the fire hand, even though it's not in the graveyard anymore, it doesn't state on fire hand that the card has to remain in the graveyard in order to destroy a face-up monster. Or if it can destroy a monster, assuming that its trigger was met. So in this case, even though fire hand's not in the graveyard anymore, it will destroy Goyo Guardian. And then the fire hand, the other effect of fire hand will special summon an ice hand to your side of the field. It's a little confusing, yes, but that's pretty much how it should be ruled. I mean, I read around forums and whatnot, and that's pretty much the consensus of how it works. I mean, I may or may not have explained it that clearly, but if you have any questions, I'll feel free to answer in any comments that you may have for Goyo Guardian. But I mean, Goyo Guardian, I believe, will survive for at least a format or two, because I know the current list will last until I think September, and the 5Ds collection probably won't come out until late September or October. So there's going to be at least one more list after the current one before a legendary 5Ds collection will come out. So depending on what Goyo does, even though it's at 1, even though it has a pretty powerful effect, I believe it'll probably survive the format for the most part. I mean, when it first came back, the price did kind of fluctuate. It did skyrocket a little bit, but now that prices are kind of stabilizing a little bit, I mean, Goyo Guardian wouldn't be too expensive of a card. You know, most players should have one if they don't already. Or if they don't have one at this point, just wait. You know, I mean, it's a good card, but it's not as powerful as it once was, because, I mean, people play bottomless, you can stop the summon, and with pendulums coming out, you know, Goyo Guardian may or may not be worth the effort to make at this point of the game. So, I mean, there's probably a few other points that I would like to touch on, but I mean, the main thing I wanted to talk about is how Goyo Guardian interacts with stuff like Fire Hand and whatnot, and and anything else that may be confusing. But yeah, for the most part, this is pretty much what I wanted to say about this card. I mean, yeah, it's pretty powerful. But if you guys wanted to comment on anything I may have missed or something that I didn't bring up, feel free to bring it up. And yeah, until next time, this is VideoBox, and peace out.
レベル4のサーチストライカーにレベル2のトラパートをチューニング。ビリビリくるぜ、シンクロ召喚。来い、ゴヨガーディアン。